Step out of faith and
And now from Nashville, Tennessee, and Praise and Harmony TV, it's karaoke.
All right, thanks so much for helping me get to the studio, Wes McKinzie. Wes McKinzie is in the car with me. I cannot believe this, Wes.
That's great to see you, Steve. I mean, Sean. I mean,
I love it. I'm Max Plaster.
Max, yes.
Yeah, no, man.
I like your hair transplant.
Thank you. That's it costs a lot. So no. Hey, man, how are you?
Things are going great.
Good. It's good to see you.
It's great to see you.
Man, catch me up on your family and where you're at. And
yeah, I'm in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
I'm
Go Thunder.
Professor I'm a professor at Oklahoma Christian University.
Yes.
I actually teach sports management, and so
Whoa.
we work with the Thunder all the time.
Man,
incredible organization. They're great.
You think we could go do some field research when I come visit you?
It's
you know what I'm saying? We could go see.
So just a few weeks ago, we went to a game. Third quarter, one of my friends comes up to Loud City. That's kind of the famous, upper deck.
Yeah.
And she's like, "You guys want to move?" And so, we went down.
Oh.
We were close.
Close to the court?
We could almost smell like Steph Curry's breath.
Wow.
We were pretty close.
That's insane.
Yeah.
So you teach sports management at Oklahoma Christian?
I get to talk about sports for a living. It's not too shabby.
Unbelievable. That is awesome. So don't you have a child, though, that is college age?
I have a college senior there at Oklahoma Christian.
She's a senior?
Yeah. She
man.
sings in New Rain, our acapella group there. And yeah, she, for somehow or another, she turned from a toddler into a college senior just like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. Well, and then your son is in
He's in middle school, 7th grade.
Wow.
Playing football, soccer, basketball.
I love it.
So,
I love it.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, do you sing bass at a local church there? Do you sing on a praise team or something?
Yeah, I'm at the Springs Church of Christ.
Okay.
I'm an elder.
Okay. Wow.
It's weird.
I love it.
I'm not old enough to be an elder,
No.
but I am. And
this is Wes McKinzie, the Highlander, okay? The only way to get him to die is if we cut his head off, okay? This guy. Wow. That's awesome.
But yeah, so sing on the worship team there. And,
wow.
So.
I love that.
We're really blessed.
What year did you get into AVB?
Yeah, so I graduated high school June 2nd, 1988.
Whoa.
And I flew to Tennessee to join the group on June 9th. 1 week later, June 9th,
Stop.
1988. So I was 18 years old. Breesian Hatcher comes along a little ways down the road to break my all-time young record. But
wow.
But yeah, so I was 18. Yeah,
and he was, what was he, 17?
Yeah. And Anthony Lancaster, who I ended up singing with Acappella,
later,
had just been born when I moved to Tennessee. So that was a trip when I got in Acappella. I was like, wow, I probably held you as a baby. I don't know if I changed your diapers.
No, man.
I hope I didn't. That'd be kind of weird.
Yeah, that would be weird. But you've been there. You really are the Highlander, though. You're in multi different generational pieces of the Acappella company. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting you use the word amalgamation because not many people know this, but the original name of the group was Amalgamation Vocal Band. Yeah.
Amalgamation Vocal Band. I like that. That has a certain ring to it.
That's actually why it became AVB, and then they changed it later.
Acapella, because amalgamation was
too much.
It doesn't translate well in other countries. So that's awesome. So, you joined AVB in 1988.
1988.
And
yes.
So what were you singing in 1988? What song? Because didn't AVB form soon before 1988?
So that the group started in 86, and for those first 2 years it was the backup group for Keith and Rodney. And then when Keith had to go off the road with his vocal problems at the time, Rodney traveled with the vocal band for a little while.
Wow.
And then they're like, okay, well, let's split them off. And so that's when George, Wayburn, and Mo joined Acappella with Rodney. And then AVB went off. We went off on our own.
Okay, right. So that was the Brett Testerman era, and then that came to a close, and that's where you come in.
Well, yeah. Well, the first few years I was with Brett, Terry, and Jay Smith.
Oh,
yeah. And then Danny Elliott and I joined at the same time.
Unbelievable.
And in fact, I was telling someone it was kind of crazy because I mean, how could Rodney Brett not be my bass singing hero? Right? He still is.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah.
But so. Yeah, he's who I listened to and tried to, kind of sound like, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
Not that anyone can, but...
I mean, come on, man.
So, like I said, fly up there June 9th, 1988. Danny and I spent the night in Keith and Sharon's living room, like on pallets or something.
Yeah.
And we are awakened that next morning by the new acapella. George, Wayburn, Mo, and Rodney, along with Keith,
Whoa.
They came in and they kind of like sang us awake.
Whoa!
Yeah, it was Aka Alarm.
Angels choir. Yeah,
it was great. And so
that's unbelievable. Do you remember what they sang to you?
I don't.
Okay.
I was too starstruck, I think, at the time.
Rise and shine. That's unbelievable.
But yeah, so Brett, Terry, Jay, and Terry would always call me wet behind the ears.
Wet behind, there you go.
They were all in their 20s and more. I think Jay might have been 30 when I joined the group. And I was this snot-nosed 18-year-old. I think it was the last time that I had a chance to see Terry. We were hanging out. We went to church with them. And on our way out, we were about to drive back home. And, Terry said something along the lines of just, keep singing. Keep praising God.
Yeah.
And it was it was awesome because we were together for a couple of years there at that time frame, but then having the chance to reconnect with him later.
Absolutely.
When we're had both lived a lot more life and that sort of thing, and just to see all the things that he had done and the impact he'd had even beyond the AVB years. It was really special.
Let's talk about this. What's the first record you sang on?
Song of My Soul. Yeah.
You sang on Song of My Soul?
Yep.
Okay, you're blowing my mind right now because I don't equate you to that time period. Like you're so young to me that I don't feel like you fit into that zone of that. So what song you sang on the whole album?
Yes,
Song of My Soul?
Yeah. So that was our first project. Danny and I joined in June of '88, and it came out for of course, everything back in those days came out for Tulsa.
That's right.
So
and I went to the Tulsa
workshop in '89.
Love it.
So of course, Danny's songs, "Roll the Stone Away," "Song of My Soul" in Heaven, and then "Victim," obviously.
Yes.
On that one. And
so we got to sing one off that record because I absolutely, that's one of my all-time favorite records of all time. So which song are we singing off of?
Oh man, "Victim's" probably stood the biggest test of time.
Done.
So yeah,
let's do it. Let's sing it.
Let's do it.
You and me, "Victim."
All right.
Everybody watching, you sing along with us, okay? Because I know you know it. I know you know it.
Stop doing those things.
That's right. Stop doing it. Yeah, and that's so funny because, I sang with the guys that were later AVB, and then we sang it. But I thought this has just become a whole different thing long down the road. But yeah, here we are, the OG. All right, here we go, "Victim."
Go ahead, Brett.
Many criminals and one crime.
I'm Brett Testament, yeah.
One verdict, gonna do some time, and I said one ruling to each one. One victim, known as the Son of God, Jesus, Emmanuel.
Woo!
Became a man.
You got it. You still got it.
Paid my bill, and I said, the Prince of Peace and the King of Kings.
That's you on there?
He taught me how to stop doing those things.
My mind is blown right now. Oh man.
Glory, glory, Jesus, you lose the chains from me. And when you died upon the cross, the wage of sin was then made free. Oh, you've taken the torture and the punishment that was mine, and you became the victim of my crime. Son of God, Jesus,
remember recording this? I mean, do you remember like actually being in the studio and doing this?
Not so much this one.
Okay.
The title track, Song of My Soul, I actually got a Go Home and Think About It from Keith Lancaster. I don't remember what part of the song I was struggling with, but it was late at night, and I just was not getting my part. Wow. And he told me to go home and think about it.
Unbelievable.
But came back, and it turned out all right. But
okay.
Yeah, so that was kind of like my full introduction to, okay, you're like, you have to like be a professional singer now.
Oh,
I had to go home and think about my part.
You're all of 18 years old, and you're just like, well, okay, go home. Okay, this might be the end. Well, let's hear the first part of that. Let's listen to it for a minute. Song of My Soul. Yeah.
You put a song in my soul when you made me. You put a song in my soul and I wanna let it out. The spirit in my life, well, it makes me wanna shout. I'm moved to sing with every beat of my heart. You put a song in my soul when you made me. Worship the Lord. You put a song in my soul and I wanna let it out. Your spirit in my life, well, it makes me wanna shout.
Yep.
With every beat of my heart, you put a song in my soul when you made me. You put a song in my soul and I wanna let it out. Your spirit in my life, well, it makes me wanna shout.
That's it.
With every beat of my heart, you put a song in my soul when you made me.
So we're talking about Terry, and probably my most vivid memory from the Song of My Soul album was we were working on the song Father, which obviously, incredible song about divorce. My parents were divorced, and obviously meant just a ton to me. Yeah. But musically, it's a great song. Yeah. Yeah. So I've been out of the studio for a few hours, and I walk in, and they're doing the playback of this part of Father, the end of Father. I'm like, man, they're getting an overtone out of that. That's awesome. That overtone sounds awesome. And they're like, no, Terry sang that. That's Terry actually singing way up in the rafters. And of course, when we called him, he was like a woman in a man's body. That's what we called him. Because how high he could sing. But even that, I was kind of floored. I was like, wow, that's amazing. So
ooh, you are my
the scream,
unbelievable.
Like the kind of that organ thing whatever, back behind.
That was him full on.
Yeah, that's all. Stop. That's all vocal. All sounds are vocally produced.
That's right, man.
By Terry Cheatham.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, that's unbelievable. I had a high voice, when I was younger, and I wanted to be a bass, but I just knew I wasn't. Yeah, when I was older too. But it never really. What's funny is it was high, but it didn't change. It changed down just a little bit, but then a few years later, it actually my upper range got a little better too, and I was like, how do you get more? I don't know. That's just an unbelievable thing. That didn't happen with you.
No.
You're lower.
So it's funny. We found a cassette tape a few years ago of me like reading a book and singing a song when I was, I don't know, like 4 or 5 years old. Yeah. And my mother is on the cassette tape, which is special in and of itself. Right. We've lost her, but
I'm sorry, man.
But she's on there and she says, sing up high. You sing so pretty when you sing up high. And I tell people that's the last time anybody ever told me that.
Wow, no.
Because you don't want to hear me sing high these days.
So when did your voice change into this, though?
In middle school. It kind of happened over a summer before my 7th grade year. And so even though like at church and stuff, I'm just kind of singing, with in the congregation with worship. Right. I didn't like necessarily like really notice what was happening at that present time. Mm-hmm. But I get to school the next fall. And everyone's like, "What happened to your voice?"
Like 7th, 8th grade.
Yeah.
Just, oh wow.
And
wow.
And then I kind of started singing some after that, and
unbelievable.
Go to ACMS, and
okay.
kind of get introduced to this whole acapella thing, and
I know and love your brother as well.
Mm-hmm.
I went to York with him, and he also equally sings very low as well. I mean, I'm not sure if he sings as low as you, but he's really far down there.
Yeah, we have an opportunity to sing, bass together sometimes.
Oh, wow.
We do some special praise team stuff.
Yeah.
There in Oklahoma City at one of the local congregations.
Shout out to Rob McKinzie.
Rob McKinzie.
Been loving some Rob McKinzie. I haven't seen Rob for a while, so I'm gonna catch up, man. But so you start singing that way, and do you attract attention from like the choir, like the school choir person, or
I mean, well, so I was in band all through middle school and for part of high school.
What'd you play?
Trombone.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. I wasn't all that great, but it was fun.
I bet you were awesome.
And but I only did choir my senior year of high school. That's the only time I was in choir.
And then you went to acapella?
Mm-hmm.
That's bro, you're blowing my mind right now. Everybody watching this, that you think like the path was long and arduous, and no, man, he just said senior year. I'm just gonna sing. I'll see you guys later. I'm going over to acapella. Okay,
that's actually kind of a funny story, and do not try this at home.
No, don't do this at home.
So
who can even do this at home?
But we did like solo and ensemble competition, and my solo. I mean, it's like any kind of like choir piece. It was really, really hard.
Right.
And, some stuff was, I mean, I kind of top out around a middle C. And so I don't
That's where I start, folks.
Yeah.
That's where mine starts.
I don't have those ranges like, Robert and Dwayne and all those guys of, Kim McAlpin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, no, but you got the low
I'm like a one-trick pony. But
no.
So anyway, so we go to the solo and ensemble competition, and I had kind of been discouraged. I didn't, really practice as much as I should have, and I just kind of muddle through the piece. I wasn't that great. My choir director, who was playing accompaniment, she says, okay, once the audition or the competition was over, she goes over to the piano and she goes, watch this. And so she starts playing down on the piano, and I sing the notes along with
all the way down.
Yeah. And I got a 1. Like they gave me like
a 1 rating,
top score.
Yeah.
Even though my performance had been horrible.
Your piece was...
Again, don't try that at home, because I should not have gotten a 1. I deserved like a 5 or 6,000.
All right. No, and is this in Oklahoma? Were you raised in Oklahoma?
Yeah. No, I was in Texas.
Texas.
San Antonio. And so, but yeah. So that was.
They heard. They understood it.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's unbelievable. Well, do you know how low you went though? I mean, were you?
It was probably around
D or
like
something.
I don't know, maybe like a G or something.
Okay.
I mean, kind of on an everyday basis. Like G's kind of my. I can pretty much count on it all the time. I've gone lower.
Yeah.
Don't growl out the notes quite like a Gary Evans does.
But there you go. Right.
But yeah,
I love it.
She's kind of like my everyday. That I can count on.
So, one of my favorite records is the one that has "Growing Up with King James" on it. What's the name of that record?
What's Your Tag Say?
What's Your Tag Say? Right, and that's a big deal, right? Because that album was, the rapping and the, you know what I'm saying? Eyes out, Reebok, guessing LA gear, make a statement, who's in, who's out this year, Bugle Boy, Bolton British Knight, information, I need to know what's right, what's your tag say?
Are you okay?
What's your tag say? Who do you obey? Yeah, that's exactly, and that album, we wore that record out. It wasn't a record, it was a tape. And we wore it out, and we had several versions of it. We had several versions of Set Me Free because we would just play them so much they would break, and we'd have to get new tapes. But that record, I mean, what was it like recording that one?
Well, yeah, so George G had come in to the group, and then when Terry
George
left,
G, unbelievable.
When Terry left, Max Plaster came in.
Yes.
And then shortly after that, Brett left, and that's when George came in. So we went from a quintet to a quartet.
Wow.
And I mean, in some way, even though it did go to a whole different dimension musically, what had started on Song My Soul, at the time it kind of felt like a natural evolution.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like maybe as groundbreaking as it was.
So let's sing one of those songs from that record. You want to do
I mean,
Ignorance Ain't Bliss, or what was the other one?
Ignorance came later. So probably King James. I mean,
okay, let's do King James. Okay, let's do that. Let's sing. Oh my gosh, this song is so. Our family sang it like it was canon or something, like we just sang along with it. All right, here we go. I'm Terry Cheatham.
That's Max Plaster.
That's Max Plaster. That's Max Plaster. Okay.
I grew up with King James. I read it in my youth. I read it in my Sunday school. It's how I learned the truth. Learning to decipher Elizabethan voice. Newer verses came along, and now I have a choice. Growing up with King James, learning these and thous, learning the unwritten rules of the church allows. Growing up with King James, hard to understand what the language means to me. Say, who is this man? King James. Not say it. The KJV is bad. It's bad. Countless souls came to the Lord, the only choice they had. If you're trying to tell me the only that one, it's the only one, that would mean Jehovah God would be an Englishman. Growing up with King James, learning these and thous, learning the unwritten rules of the church allows. Growing up with King James, hard to understand. Who is this man? What the language means to me. Say, who art thou, man? King James. Who is this man? King James. King James.
Man, dude, that was awesome. That was. I've never in the many years of being friends with you ever thought we'd be singing this stuff in a car together like this. That's insane, man. Do you remember all that?
Yeah, I mean, that is one of my favorites. I mean, you can't help but put a smile on your face.
Yeah.
It just has all the stuff and all, with Keith's arrangement with the trumpets and then the, it's kind of the rock bops in the second verse.
Yeah.
And that's kind of has the kitchen sink in it. And we used to, so we would go to Burger King on the road. Of course, a ton of fast food on the road.
Right.
But, you can't sing a song about King James without crowns.
Crowns!
And so before we paid the big bucks to go to a costume shop and actually get like some of the VBS kind of crowns, we would go to Burger King and we would get the crowns when we got our order, and we actually wore those crowns. And we,
in the concert.
Yeah. And we put little duct tape over the Burger King logo.
Right.
Sorry. And with our names on them and that kind of thing. So
wow,
that was fun.
So do you have vivid memories of wearing these crowns? Maybe they fall off in the middle of a concert, or because you're moving around.
They're adjustable, and so you'd have to get them just right. And those were, for the most part, our pre-choreography days. So we weren't moving too much. We let the props do the talking.
Choreography didn't come until the next record. Is that correct?
Yes.
We're talking Celebrating Party.
Celebrating Party.
Oh man, Celebrating Party. So you guys had to wear knee pads and like Arsenio Hall type jackets or something. I don't know that Arsenio Hall. I don't know why I even said his name, but I'm saying in that time frame.
Yeah. Right. I actually sang for Arsenio back in the day.
You sang for
Not
Arsenio?
on the show, but we went to the show and we sang in the pre-show, just like in the audience. Like,
Whoa!
Yeah, well, like, hey, we sing, and so we sang.
That's insane.
Yeah, I can't remember if we go woo, 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 or not. But,
Okay,
yeah,
was that fun?
Yeah, it was a blast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, about this time though, right? Like I think DC Talk was on Arsenio Hall. Right at that same time, y'all kind of look. You have the same look around this time, you know?
Right.
And you had a mullet at some point.
Yeah. So for on the album or on the cover, what your tags say, I have kind of a profile view, and you can see it kind of in all of its glory.
Yes. It was glorious.
But I had cut it off for Celebrating and Party.
Okay.
No, I still had it on Celebrating and Party.
Did you?
Yes.
Okay.
It was the next album I had it cut. But yeah. So yeah, I was Wesley Ray Cyrus.
So many mullets happening.
Yes, they were
back then.
They were free flowing in acapella company.
Yes.
For sure.
So this might be difficult, but here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go out, and I've danced the same dance now with those two guys, and I'm gonna see if we can dance this dance. And this is The Sound of Music. Do you remember that song?
I'm trying to remember the choreography for Sound of Music.
So they do something like this, and then like this, and then like that, and then it's like some kind of
doing something with our feet.
Yes, there's some kind of, and then we tap bop bop, and then we bop 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 back that way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You remember this?
I kind of, yeah. I remember Kyrie for sure, but yeah, Sound of Music. You might out dancing on that.
No, I got no dance moves on this.
The sound of music has got me grooving, and we must use it to glorify and honor Him. The sound of music has real influence to bless or ruin with words that hit the heart of man.
You've been tired since the early 90s? I mean, that was that was amazing.
That's what flannel will do to you. Yeah.
I'm telling you. Yeah. That was harder than a Biggest Loser workout. You know what I'm saying? That was crazy, man. Y'all put on a show every night. Oh, that was awesome.
Ignorance ain't bliss when it comes in the form of a diss. Prejudice and racial perception from a distance breeds misconceptions. A man's skin color ain't the place to start. You gotta get close, get into the heart. Otherwise, there's a lot you'll miss. Prejudicial ignorance show ain't bliss. Sing it out.
What makes you think He will let you get by using ignorance as an alibi?
So talk, tackle racism, tackle, special needs, and people with physical disabilities, and then
ahead of its
ministry
time.
stuff.
I feel like it was.
To break the comfort zone, you're accustomed.
I actually used that. That first verse about racism.
Yeah.
Like I'm working on my doctoral dissertation right now.
Okay.
And that's kind of what it's about. It's like people, experience of people of color and their experience in the workplace and that kind of thing. And so it's kind of crazy to, in some ways, sort of come full circle from music ministry now to like an academic ministry.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I mean, it wasn't necessarily planned that way, but I actually had somebody point that out not too long ago, that I was kind of sort of doing a social justice thing, back 30 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's, that's what we were, as a family, as an Acappella Ministries family, AVB family, and that's one of the incredible beauties of Acappella Ministries is that, we do have and did have this melting pot of people and backgrounds and races and so we're just family, and we know each other's differences and we see each other's differences, but we're working together, and there isn't those prejudices. We all carry bias in some form or fashion, but those prejudices weren't a thing because we were family and we were getting close, getting into the heart. So,
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, it was words that meant a lot then. I love the songs, I love the words, but they mean a lot more now to me than they did then. And I just, I think it was just lack of a experience in the world to know what those things were. And so now that I'm, 42, I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, yeah. And I mean, we talk, song like Father, about divorce, and coming from a divorced family myself.
Yeah.
As a 18, 19-year-old, that meant, a ton to me.
Yeah.
But at the reunion, at the AVB reunion, the first time I'm singing that song as a father myself, and it was one of those things, like, we're on stage during the concert, and as soon as we hit the, you are my father, I'm like, wow, it just hit me in a totally different way.
Wow.
And, again, just, it's a life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that song means a lot to a lot of people, but to hear that it wasn't just, because you think when you see people do this day in and day out, you're like, okay, well, this is just sort of, you just go, you just do your thing. You're kind of outside of yourself and you do this thing. But I love to hear that you're in it, you're feeling it. It's a part of your, it's a part of your DNA and who you are and how you got to this place, and it means something. It's not just a song. Yeah. So I love that.
Yeah.
You're in luck. I see a Burger King up here. We're going to try to find some crowns. See what we can do.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go.
Need some headwear.
Yeah. Why can't a nose be 12 inches long?
I gotta think of something like a ruler, but I don't know what.
Well, because it would be a foot.
Yes.
That's just terrible.
Yeah.
That's the worst joke that's ever been told.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's kind of full of some toe jam there or something. I don't know. See, that was a dad kind of, but not a good one, but it was something that came off the top of my head.
That's right.
Or through my nose.
I have one special request, please. May I please have 3 crowns, Burger King crowns? Like the ones you have.
I got you.
Oh, you do?
Nice.
I love you so much. Okay, 3 Burger King crowns. That's all, that order and those 3 crowns. That's it.
All right. Hold on 2 seconds, please.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on.
Yes, it's happening.
Yes.
This is happening.
Crown them.
It has not happened
Crown
since 1991, and we're gonna do this, man. What vehicle were you in when you were in AVB?
Oh man. Well, yeah. Multiple. So yeah.
That just brought you into a whole, your face, everything. Oh man, I tell you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we started out. We were in, I think it was New Red. So Acappella had 2 buses at the time.
Whoa.
And was outfitted with bunks and but unfortunately, it was either that one or the other, but like exhaust would kind of seep up into the bus. It wasn't the safest. But
local band monoxide, carbon monoxide.
Yeah, so actually, when I got in the group, I was a baritone. But then after all the exhausts, it helped the range.
Nuclear.
No,
physics takes
but
over.
it was comfy. But then it broke down. So then we got into another bus that looked the same and had. But actually had the AVB logo on the side, so
was
we kind of
like an eagle or what?
Yeah,
was it? Okay.
but as our buses were wont to do, it had problems too, and so eventually, I'll never forget this because we were in the parking lot in Paris, Tennessee. At Clifty Studios there, and we know we're getting a new vehicle, and so we're kind of excited about that, and we got a Ford Aerostar minivan. And so we're going from a bus, which was maybe unsafe, but still it was spacious.
Big, spacious,
yes.
Sleeping, laying flat.
And to a Ford Aerostar. That was in our quartet days, so that What Your Tax Say. So there were 4 of us, and then George G. With his wife and daughter, a baby daughter.
Okay.
And so we took out a row of seats and had a little pallet that was probably against the law, but
Okay.
I think the statutes of limitations probably run out by now.
Yeah.
And
This is the 90s we're
yes,
talking
yes.
about. Yeah.
But then we eventually upgraded from there to like a full size, kind of a maroon burgundy van, and so that gave us a little bit more comfort.
Like
and
a
we had
15 passenger.
yeah, and then we had like the box truck that carried all the equipment and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I was in 4 different vehicles during my AVB years.
You got spoiled
and
right
then,
off.
And then Acappella, we did. We got a bus, kind of one of those church type buses, so not like
mover.
the full, people
Yeah.
mover kind of thing, and had that outfitted, and it was pretty good. But then it broke down, and we carried a trailer, with our equipment, and it actually caught on fire in Arkansas.
Whoa.
We had to this is like middle of the night, middle of nowhere in Arkansas, and
The trailer caught on fire.
and we're getting out, fanning the flames, pulling over in this liquor store parking lot, and no one around, and putting that out. And then eventually, the trailer something on it broke and died. I'm not sure exactly what, and we actually had to leave it in Arizona. So somewhere there's a part of acapella lore. It might be scrap metal now, but in Arizona. But yeah, if you weren't, kind of the rite of passage in Acappella Ministries was that you had to be in a vehicle that had some kind of issue with it. The problem was, it was a rite of passage, but we had to keep going around and around. There were like 20 million rites of passage, over
You paid
time.
your dues.
Yeah. But
That's amazing.
but that's all part of that was part of the experience.
Wow. Have you ever been to jail
Just
before?
drive.
I'm going to go.
So that's a funny story, actually. So funny story. So I haven't been to jail,
Okay.
other than doing prison ministry stuff, which that's been awesome, and we could talk about that if you want to. But so we're going up to do a concert in Canada, and we had been counseled, and it turned out this was bad counsel, but we had been counseled to we didn't have much product, and so not to declare our product going across the border, that we would just kind of have it packed and go across the border. Again, not a smart thing to do, but we were following somebody's advice. So we get stopped, and they find the product at the border, and it turned into a thing. And so I was the road manager at the time, and so I was inside for a long time and getting questioned. The light was kind of swaying back and not really, but anyway, yeah, I'm getting interrogated.
Here you go, yeah.
But the best part about it was, we'd been there a couple hours or something, and at one point, one of the Border Patrol officers whips out a newspaper that has a picture of us promoting the concert that we're going to do that night. And he's like, "Is this you?" And we're like, "Yeah." And so we had to do some stuff. I think we ended up having to pay a fine, which might have been why we had to get a Ford Aerostar. I'm not sure, but anyway, so that's honestly, even though it's kind of a rough memory, one of my favorite memories, that we got interrogated at the border in Canada, and they actually showed us our newspaper picture. I don't remember. Once we got interrogated, kind of everything was a blur after that. So,
Wes, just for real, on behalf of all the people, and let me tell you a short story before I finish what I'm saying. I have a friend, his name's Chuck Hawley, very close friend of mine, and he was talking about how much he loved AVB, and I said, "Man, I love AVB too," and he said, "Wes McKinzie, that's the dude right there." And I said, "I love Wes McKinzie," and he's like, "That guy rattles the whole place." So I told Chuck, I said, I'm gonna interview him, but I'm gonna shout him out. Chuck Hawley.
Chuck, thank you, and I need you.
There you go. That's it. I need you to download on. No, but I mean, thank you on behalf of just thousands upon thousands of people that just have been impacted by your ministry and your heart and your voice. Thank you for using your gifts to bless others, to be open to that, and not even knowing what was going to happen when you were 18 years old, and just did your thing and went out there. And man, I've been blessed by it my whole life. I feel privileged to call you a friend.
Yeah.
And I've loved you for a long time, and I'm just really grateful. So on behalf of all the people that love your ministry and what you do, and love your voice, and just thank you for that.
Oh, no, thank you. And I mean, one of the greatest gifts, through this whole thing is the relationships. And, and I mean, you've, poured into my life, big time over the last few years, and just those special relationships we have where, we hope that we're able to be a blessing through what we do on stage and on a recording, and then in those relationships we make. But the way that we've been blessed by, all the friends we've made, and this extended family we have. It is
an extended family. It's unbelievable.
It's something that's wouldn't trade it for the world, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, man, I can't wait to hear what this legacy recording is going to be like. But thanks for spending some time with me. And we made it. We made it to the studio.
Safe and sound with our crowns.
That's with our crowns.
Hey.
Blinging out here. All right, man. Love you, dude.
Love you too.